Hey everybody, so today I want to talk about feminism and particularly this idea that women are not paid equally. So this is just crazy because in 1963 we had this thing called the Equal Pay Act, in which means you cannot pay someone differently based on their sex. So a woman gets paid the same amount of men. So the feminists aptly point out that there's a wage gap, is what they call it. However, this is incorrect because the wages are the same. So, like, if I worked at McDonald's and a girl worked at McDonald's, say we both only had a high school degree, we had zero work experience, we had no other particular qualities that make me superior to her, or vice versa. Say the girl, maybe she had some other certificates, she maybe gets 50 cents raise, but that wouldn't be equal in this case. Assuming that she did and we both got paid $10. This would be, we would probably get paid the same. We'd definitely be paid the same. Because, uh, there's no actual difference here in this case. So we'd both say we worked 10 hours a week, we'd both get paid $100, and then this would mean that we'd be paid the same. However, the feminists think this doesn't work on the large scale, so they point to this number 77%. However, it's 77 cents per dollar. This is a lie because in this case they're actually talking aggregate income and not actual wages. So they don't contest that we make $10. But however, they contest this, which is stupid. So let me show you some math, guys. So how this is calculated is you take the median income for a man versus the median income of a woman, and you're gonna find out that the median income for a man is $937. And then you first never mind. You need to go take the woman's first. So you need to take the 767 is the average amount a woman makes per week, divided by 937, the average amount of a man, and you're going to get around 82%. So, on average, a woman makes 82% of what a man makes, or about 18% less than a man. So why is this? So the big thing is actually women work less than men. This is the biggest reason. So on average, a man works 8.1 hours. So let's take my example of using $10 an hour. So a man would make 8.1 if he was working for 8 hours, 8.1 hours on average, and he made $10. He would make $81 per day versus the woman who would be making on average 7.3. So you take 73 divided by 81, and that would mean that a woman would be making about more than half of it, of the wage gap, is due just to be making just because. So let's take the 0.82. So now we get down to the number. That was just because of how much women work less. So now we're down to about an 8% wage gap, according to them, even though it's aggregate income. So there actually is going to be a lot of other things involved with this, investments. However, there's a few other things. Talk about this. So now we get that right away. So this is potentially, that could be sexism. However, it's not, because you have to take into account that women, on average, work in less risky occupations. So oil drilling, the army. There's all sorts of things, and women tend not to choose higher paid jobs because they value other things differently. Women, on average, value differently than men do, so this is going to lead to a different choice, and this has a lot to do with biologically speaking, interpersonally speaking. If you if you follow Jordan Peterson, he has a great theory in which this is actually bad for women to earn equal to men because women tend to date men above them in social and wealth indicators. So they want people in a higher socioeconomic status. And there happens to be not a lot of men that have this in our modern day society. So women are having trouble dating. They have to date lower like men do. So there's also, negative ramifications of having equal pay, like women earning as much as a man do. So a lot of this has to do with choice and not sexism, and you can get it down to like 0.3, about 3% of the wage gap could be attributed to sexism, but there's also variables I couldn't take into account. Um, so I need to do some more math, but the big one is definitely the amount of hours worked, and this has a lot to do with women getting pregnant and then they take this time off, and there's also choices. Women just want to work less. Um, if you actually do it. So this is why the feminist wage gap is just a lie, an outright lie. And they even word it wrongly because it's not a wage gap, it's an income gap. Because wages would imply that we both didn't earn $10. We did. And in a lot of cases, so the big movie stars like to point out that they get paid less than most co-stars, but it's simply driven by the fact that certain male actors have a higher viewership than female actors, some high-paid female actors. That has a lot to do with choice, not not anything sexism, nothing like that. Let's take the best example, soccer. So women's soccer, they get paid very little compared to the men, and this reason is men watch the sport and they watch men playing it. And it's because that male soccer players perform at a higher level than women do. That's the sole reason why. And they claim this is sexism. No, it's a rational decision making because it's their hobby. They like watching sports, they like watching it played the best, and it happens to be men. That's all. It's not sexism. If the women were better at the sport, then odds are that then they'd be watching it. Like tennis, where there's relatively parity, there's still the men get paid more, but there's still a lot of men watching women's tennis. So it has very little to do with sexism and more rational choice. There's obviously individual accounts of sexism, which I of course don't endorse, but it's not a systemic problem with the United States. There is systemic racism in the Islamic world, and that's for another story. So this is just an outright feminist lie that they've been using for a long time. This just simply hasn't been true for a long time. So thank you guys for listening today. If you guys have any suggestions, please comment, like, and subscribe. And if you have any criticism, I like constructive criticism. So if you're just gonna call me stupid or a moron, I don't really want to hear it. So if you guys don't like the video, please tell me why and give reasons. Is my math wrong? Is my logic wrong? Please tell me down below. Thank you guys. Have a great day.